Hello folks, how we doing? Just wanted to do a wee video. Hope everybody's well, hope everybody's, had a nice weekend and we're now on a Monday. Hope everybody has a positive week. You know how it goes. Everybody likes to have a wee positive week, and that's what I hope for you and that's what I hope for everybody watching. Listen, this isn't a video that I'm particularly happy to make because it's basically calling someone out. It's calling a footballer out, right? And like I say, it's not really something that I wanted to do because I like to be positive when it comes to football. I like to see the good in every player and, look at the positives, look at the strengths in them and stuff. But it's time now that we all, as a Celtic supporter, we all have to stand up and realise that Reo Hatate is done at Celtic. It's over. There is no coming back for the guy. He is now not just not performing for Celtic, he is now a liability. When you put him in the team, he is literally like a man down. He's a weakness that has to be taken out the team for his sake. Not just for Celtic's sake, but for Reo Hatate's sake, because as game goes on and on and on, people are starting to wake up and realise that the man is now no longer fit to be a Celtic player. There is obviously a few players like that at Celtic at the moment who are not performing, particularly in that position. You look at Paulo Bernardo. Paulo Bernardo is not lighting up for Celtic at the moment. Same goes for Luke McCowan. Guys like that. Arnie Engels is now injured. Even people are starting to question Callum McGregor at this point in his career, which, I feel is a bit harsh because I think Callum McGregor is still a top performer for Celtic. But now is the time to let Reo Hatate go. Even though he's still at the club and we're not on a transfer window, he cannot be in any more squads. He cannot get any more game time. It is over for Reo Hatate. He is literally a liability. He can't pass the ball like he used to. He can't score goals like he used to. He can't hold his discipline, which is another massive thing for Hatate. He's constantly fouling people. He's constantly giving the ball away. And then he takes bad touches, and then the bad touches gets him into a bad area, and he ends up fouling the man who's took the ball off him. And it happens consistently with Hatate now. And, like I said earlier, this isn't a video I wanted to make because when Reo Hatate first came to Celtic in 2022 under Ange Postecoglou, he was fantastic. He was a revelation. Him and Kyogo, Maeda. And I remember Hatate's debut against Hibs at Celtic Park, and he was phenomenal. He was brilliant. Obviously, went on to score some good goals for Celtic against Rangers as well. And Hatate, for a long period of time, for about 2 years, was excellent for Celtic. He was the first name on the team sheet. He was the sort of player that every team in the league wanted. And it's just totally... It's gone now. It's totally gone for the guy. He isn't automatically just going to start performing again. It's a game yesterday. He gets 45 minutes and hooked off at half time because he's just no entering the game at all. And what he does in the pitch is just simply awful. And that's Martin O'Neill having to take him out of the team again. So, I wish the guy no harm. I don't want, I'm going to be victimised and all this, even though I'm making a video about him specifically, but it's just, there's still far too many Celtic fans and still far too many people in Scottish football who are letting Reo Hatate away with poor performance after poor performance after poor performance. And it is basically because of his previous time at Celtic, his previous performances, because it is baffling, because, like I say, he has performed for Celtic and he looked amazing and he looked technically good and everything about it, but it's all gone. It's all gone, and the narrative now of Reo Hatate is down in tools and doesn't want to be at Celtic is now growing. Everybody is thinking that he just looks unhappy and he looks like he wants away, and whether that's true or no, the fact that that's even been spoke about now is shows you that Reo Hatate is nowhere near performing the way he can do. And like I say, I just don't feel in this instance that Reo Hatate is going to change. I don't feel he's just going to light on a switch again and we'll start to see the player of old. And it's really disappointing. Whether it is a case of him wanting away to go somewhere else for whatever reason. There's a World Cup coming up in a few months, and he could have been performing at a level to show the manager and to show Europe and to show the world that he can perform at the World Cup level. But if I'm the Japan manager, I'm telling you right now, he is nowhere near my squad, nowhere near it. Obviously, I don't know any other Japanese players, right? But the way Reo Hatate performs, I'd be looking elsewhere. The same goes for Kyogo down at Birmingham. He's not performing either. So, and Maeda has been really, really poor this season as well. I wouldn't take any three of them. Like I say, I don't know any other kind of Japanese players that are performing at any kind of level, but those three guys in particular this season have all regressed big time. And obviously, the Daiza Maeda thing, Martin O'Neill's let it slip that Wolfsburg were in for him and he wanted to go in the summer. Didn't happen. But I don't really feel that Daiza Maeda is down tools, as we say. I feel that he's still performing. He's not performing, but what he is doing, he's trying. He's still running about daft. You've still got that wee tiger on the left-hand side, Duracell Bunny running up and down. You can't be taking that away from Maeda. But Maeda's never been technically good, though. He's never been a guy who's silky on the ball and, composed and stuff like that. At the end of last season, he got Player of the Year because he was banging him in. He was right place, right time. And it is exactly what Celtic needed at that point, but he's never been a technically gifted footballer, Daiza Maeda. He's always been a hard-working, speedy footballer, you know what I mean? And that's exactly what Celtic needed at that point. But going back to Reo Hatate, he's not performing at a level that you would think would be justified to take this guy to a World Cup in any way, shape or form. But, you look at the Bologna game, he gets sent off. It was just two stupid bookings. And he lets the team down. Celtic would have won that night. I believe Celtic would have won that night if Reo Hatate had stayed on the park, or, even if Celtic had made a sub, I just feel that that's what I'm going back to, the fact that the guy's a liability on the park now. And he lets you down time after time after time. And it's a shame. It is a real shame. But there's going to be people watching this thinking that I'm talking rubbish, that Reo Hatate still got something in his locker, and I'm telling you right now, he's no. Reo Hatate's Celtic career is done. Absolutely done. There is about, you've got McGregor, Oxley, Chamberlain, Engels, Negrin, Bernardo, McCowan, in my opinion, all ahead of him now. And it's been like this now with Reo Hatate for about 2 years. He's been at Celtic for 4 years. This is his 4th year, and I think he was excellent for 2 years. In the past 2 years, he's been really, really, really poor. And I think that it's over. And I don't know if you agree with me, but let me know in the comments. Hit the subscribe button. And it'll be interesting to see what people think on this one. But thanks for watching.